Starting off at number 10 now, we have the Messenger scans. In April 2018, Bloomberg reported that Facebook scans every link and image that you send to your friends and family on Facebook Messenger. Facebook said they do this so that they can flag content that goes against their terms and conditions. In a statement, they gave an example of their scanning as a tool to detect and stop child exploitation imagery, as their system will scan it and then flag it to their attention. Now they say the same works for links that people send you being scanned for malware or viruses. This may sound good on paper, but in practice many people are unhappy with the idea of Facebook literally scanning every picture or personal link that they send, whether or not it's a machine doing it. At the end of the day, I think this one comes down to, like so many things, how much you value safety and fighting crime compared to your own privacy. I'd be interested to hear where the line is for you in the comments section. Next up at number 9 now, we have deleted videos. In the last video we talked about Cambridge Analytica, the company that gathered information about millions of Facebook users to sell it on for political purposes. One of Facebook's responses to the scandal was to allow people to download their own data and see for themselves what Facebook has been storing about them. To people's horror, they found that Facebook had stored videos that they had deleted. They were still present in Facebook's archives and available for anyone to retrieve if they knew how. Facebook apologized for the unintentional bug, however the damage was kind of already done, and public opinion of Facebook plummeted thanks to their very loose definition of the term deleted. Moving on to number 8 now, we have Mark's messages. As many of you are aware, Facebook users can't delete messages from someone else's inbox once they send them a message. They can delete their own all they want, but the other person will always be able to see it. Well, apparently that doesn't apply to Mark Zuckerberg. In early 2018, a TechCrunch report claimed that Facebook reviews old messages sent between sources and Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook. They found that Mark's messages have been removed somehow. When the report was released, Facebook said it was a corporate security measure. Now they claim that after Sony Pictures had their emails hacked in 2014, they themselves made a number of changes to protect their executive communications. This included, in their words, limiting the retention period for Mark's messages in Messenger. We did so in full compliance with our legal obligations to preserve messages. Now, whether or not you think it's fair that this privilege isn't extended to other Facebook users, one question still remains: why didn't Facebook publicly disclose this? Moving on to number 7 now, we have the Facebook killer. Now nobody will say this one is Facebook's fault, but it's still something I think they would like to downplay. On April 16th, 2017, 74-year-old Robert Godwin Sr. was shot and killed while walking on a sidewalk in Cleveland, USA. The suspect was 37-year-old Steve Stevens. He posted a video of the shooting onto his Facebook account. This led many media outlets to dub him the Facebook killer. Now while this was obviously not Facebook's fault, they did get some criticism. Some people felt that the video should not have even been allowed up on Stevens' Facebook page for the 2 hours that it was there before being taken down. A few weeks later, Facebook announced that it was adding additional personnel to their team to proactively screen Facebook Live content for violent and other inappropriate sources. Moving on to number 6 now, we have Russia. Just calling this one Russia. Most people are aware of the ongoing investigation into Russian meddling into the 2016 US election. There has been mounting evidence of a Russian influence campaign on Facebook that targeted American voters to intentionally spread misinformation. Many people claim that Facebook didn't do enough to stop this, despite it happening before their very eyes. In response to this, Facebook announced plans to begin requiring disclosures and disclaimers on all political ads and include issue-based ads. Some say that it is a step in the right direction, others say it's way too little too late. Coming at number 5 now, we have anti-Semitism. In September 2017, ProRepublica published an article in which they claim that Facebook allowed them to post anti-Semitic advertisements with no restrictions. This was all part of a test they did to see if they could even do it. For $30, they promoted 3 posts to over 2,000 people interested in topics that involved extremely anti-Semitic phrases. In just 15 minutes, the ads ads were 100% approved. After they contacted Facebook about this, the company removed the anti-Semitic categories, which were created by an algorithm rather than people. Despite the fact that the categories and posts were machine-made and monitored, that didn't get Facebook off the hook. They admitted fault and said it would explore ways to fix the problem, including limiting the number of categories available or scrutinizing them before they are displayed to buyers. Moving on to number 4 now, we have the Instagram clash. In case you didn't already know, Facebook owns Instagram. They bought the company back in 2012 for $1 billion. In the years since then, many people thought that the two companies had quite a harmonious relationship. However, behind the scenes it was a very different story. Rumors of a rift between them were confirmed in September 2018 when Instagram co-founders Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger announced they would be leaving the company. This was amid reports that their departure might be due to an increase in meddling by Mark Zuckerberg. That is right. They felt that Mr. Zuckerberg was getting far too involved with their company to the point where they felt the only option was to leave. Now officially they said they were leaving to explore their curiosity and creativity again. Experts think they were trying to run Instagram more independently than Facebook would have liked them to. The companies had worked together well for the past 6 years, but it's thought that something happened behind the scenes in the last few months that caused this rift between them. Next up at number 3 now we have hate speech. In April 2018, Vox published an interview with Mark Zuckerberg which got him into hot water with a lot of people. He said he had helped to silence anti-Rohingya propaganda through the Facebook Messenger scans that we talked about before. That crisis involved 650,000 Rohingya refugees being forced to flee Bangladesh following persecution. Organisers in Myanmar were furious about Zuckerberg's claim. 6 groups there signed a letter to Zuckerberg that stated, "Though these dangerous messages were deliberately pushed to large numbers of people, many people who received them say they did not personally know the sender. Your team did not seem to have picked up on the pattern. For all of your data, it would seem that it was our own personal connection with senior members of the team which led to the issue being dealt with." Mark Zuckerberg might have felt Facebook did enough to stop this hate speech, but many people who were on the ground there did not. Moving on to number 2 now, we have plagiarism. In 2009, Facebook settled a lawsuit from a man who claimed that he basically came up with Facebook. Let me explain. The lawsuit came from Aaron Greenspan. He attended Harvard University at the same time as Mark Zuckerberg. He designed a program called House System for students and faculty members. One section of that involved a course scheduler, student marketplace, email service, automatic birthday reminder, message boards, photo albums, digital flyer advertising, an event calendar, map integration, job placement, and local business reviews. Its name was, wait for it, the Universal Facebook, or just Facebook for short. The lawsuit was finally settled with Mark Zuckerberg acknowledging Aaron Greenspan for his contribution to Facebook. Any money that changed hands over this was not disclosed though. What do you guys think? Is this just inspiration or a total rip-off? And finally at number 1 now we have experimentation. This is a really shady one that not many people know about. Back in 2012, for about a week, Facebook ran an experiment. Without users' knowledge or permission, many people were shown happier or more negative statuses than usual, with the opposing ones being censored to them. At the end of the week, Facebook analysts examined if this affected people's moods by seeing if they posted happier or more negative things themselves. Now naturally there was an absolute uproar when this happened. Many people said this was extremely unethical and that just because an experiment is done online, it doesn't mean you can hide it from the people taking part. Facebook didn't really seem to mind though, at least not at the time. People speculate that they were trying to find out how to make you happy or sad so that they could advertise certain products to you when they had you in the right mood.
And I was human. I am human. But I was just referring to myself in the past. Not that I was not human.
How creepy is that? Actually, it's kind of just normal now, isn't it really? Starting off at number 10 now, we have peeing in a bottle. Never thought I'd say that title. For many years there have been reports of Amazon treating its workers very poorly and often for less than minimum wage. If that sounds unbelievable, then listen to this. In December 2017, Metro reported that after the Amazon delivery drivers have paid for their van hire and insurance, they are effectively earning less than minimum wage. The year before, the BBC reported that drivers also work illegal hours hours. They said that Amazon expects the drivers to work 12-hour shifts, despite UK law prohibiting drivers from working over 11 hours a day. However, the most shocking part of all came when the undercover reporter said that colleagues told him they had to defecate in bags and urinate in bottles because there was no time for real toilet breaks. Workers said they lived in fear of being disciplined over idle time and losing their jobs because they needed the toilet. An Amazon spokesperson said Amazon ensures all of its associates have easy access to toilet facilities, which are just a short walk away from where they are working. Still, many critics were inclined to believe the workers would have no reason to lie about this, or, hold it in if they were bursting. Next up at number 9 now, we have illegal items. In December 2015, The Guardian shared their investigation, which found that the British Amazon site listed illegal weapons, including stun guns, pepper spray pistols, and knuckle dusters. Some of them were found to have been developed for military and police forces. To The Guardian's surprise, they were able to purchase these weapons. They included a pistol that fires a jet of high-strength pepper spray at 112 miles per hour, a 1 million volt stun gun disguised as a flashlight, and last but not least, a baseball cap containing a hidden stabbing knuckle duster. I'm wearing a similar one right now. Just kidding, obviously. The sellers on Amazon were said to be from the US and Israel. Now, naturally, many people wondering just how exactly these items got through British customs. Well, the packages have been declared as an LED flashlight and a toy part. That's a little bit of a stretch, isn't it? I don't know how many toy parts there are that could kill you. The report wasn't the first of its kind, it won't be the last, and it certainly put a spotlight on just how difficult Amazon has made it to control the sale of illegal items across borders. Moving on to number 8 now, we have the Nazi t-shirts. In January 2008, a Czech website drew attention to shirts sold on Amazon that bore the words "I love Heinrich Himmler" and "I love Reinhard Heydrich." Two infamous Nazi officers and convicted war criminals. They are most remembered for being instrumental leaders of the Holocaust, which saw over 6 million people murdered at the hands of the Nazis. Patricia Smith, a spokesperson for Amazon, told the media, "Our catalogue contains millions of items. With such a large number, unexpected merchandise may get onto the web." The scandal led to the World Jewish Congress calling on the shirt's removal from the Amazon site. Amazon did just that and also removed their "I love Hitler" shirts, which were on sale for women and children. Who is buying that? For children as well. So many questions there. Moving on to number 7 now, we have tax avoidance. This is a pretty big one that you may have heard about. In 2012, it was reported that Amazon made £3.3 billion in sales in the UK. That's a lot of money, and so you'd expect a sizable sum to be taxed. But no, that year, Amazon didn't pay any corporate tax on that amount. After a lengthy investigation, Amazon did agree to pay the corporate tax. So, lesson learned, right? Well, apparently not, because in 2017, it was once again reported that Amazon had been avoiding taxes. This time, it was even worse. Despite making European revenues of 21.6 billion euros, the company paid just 16.5 million euros. In the same year, its UK corporation tax bill halved despite revenues rising almost 50%. Spokesperson said that Amazon pays all the taxes that are required in every country where it operates. I don't think so though. Next up at number 6 now, we have the Paedophile Guide. In November 2010, an ebook was sold on Amazon titled The Paedophile's Guide to Love and Pleasure, a Child Lover's Code of Conduct. Of course, many people were outraged by this. There were threats of boycotting Amazon over its selling of the book. Initially, Amazon defended their sale of the book, saying they didn't believe in censoring certain books simply because they or other people believe the message is objectionable. However, as the pressure mounted, the company wavered. The San Francisco Chronicle reported that Amazon defended the book, then removed it, then reinstated it, before finally removing it again. Even today, a debate still remains between those who believe that the book was not pornographic or obscene and should not have been censored, and those who say that anything of this nature simply serves to normalize child abuse. Coming at number 5 now, we have the tent. In December 2016, The Independent reported that Amazon workers in Scotland had resorted to sleeping in tents near the company's warehouse in an attempt to save money. At least 3 tents had been pitched in the woods near Dunfermline, close to one of Amazon's fulfillment centers. The employees said they were living in tents in the sub-zero temperatures to save money on travel costs. They said if they didn't do this, they couldn't continue to work for the company, which was not paying them a living wage. Naturally, critics said Amazon should be ashamed of this and demanded the company raise workers' wages to enable them to commute from their homes. During the week that the story broke, temperatures dropped to -7 degrees in the area, with locals becoming concerned for the welfare of the workers camped out in the woods. An Amazon spokesperson refuted the story, saying that the company pays a fair living wage, enough to allow a commute to work. Critics deny this, saying nobody would sleep in the woods in sub-zero temperatures unless they absolutely had to. Moving on to number 4 now, we have price discrimination. Many websites ask your permission to use cookies, which track what sites you have recently visited. They aim to build up a sort of online profile of you to better market products or tailor your experience. Most of the time, this is fine for people, but Amazon once used it in a very questionable way. One Amazon user found a DVD on the site at one price, but when they deleted their cookies, they were offered the exact same DVD, but at a much lower price. That's right, Amazon gave them two very different prices before and after deleting their cookies. This meant that you or I could be given two different prices simply because of automated information about our online history. The scandal went right to the top of the company. CEO Jeff Bezos responded to the story by apologizing for the pricing. He said that Amazon will never test prices based on customer demographics. They offered to refund customers who paid the higher prices, but many people felt the cat was now out of the bag. Coming at number 3 now, we have the reviews. In 2004, the New York Times reported that a glitch in the Amazon Canada website allowed authors to write reviews for their own books or rival books written by other authors. Of course, you guys can see why this would be a huge problem. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of having public reviews. Amazon said they had fixed the problem, but over the years, more reports kept coming in. In April 2010, a British historian was found to have posted positive reviews of his own books and negative reviews of his colleagues. A few months later, a news blog found that 75 book reviews had been posted by a public relations company on behalf of their clients. Scandals like this only increased until in 2011, it got even worse. It was then reported that Amazon itself had moved into the publishing business and begun to solicit positive reviews from established authors in exchange for increased promotion of their own books and upcoming projects. Basically, that's just not cool. The whole practice makes reviews kind of worthless. Do you guys trust the ones you see online? Next up at number 2 now, we have the competition. In October 2015, Amazon banned sales of Apple TV and Google Chromecast products that were directly in competition with its own Fire TV product. This was obviously done to create an advantage for their own product, but Amazon denied this. They said they only banned the sales to prevent customer confusion because at the time, Apple and Google devices did not support Amazon's video service. Critics were not buying it though. They argued that Amazon had deliberately refused to develop an app for the other devices as it was trying to suppress their sales. This seemed to be proven true when, in December 2017, Amazon launched an Amazon Video app, but neither it or Chromecast products have returned to the site. And finally, number 1 now, we have Holocaust denial. We spoke a little bit about the Holocaust earlier. Some countries hold this piece of history in such high regard that it's actually illegal to deny the Holocaust happened. In October 2013, British magazine The Kernel reported that Amazon was selling books that defend Holocaust denial, and were even shipping them out to countries where Holocaust denial is illegal. The World Jewish Congress called on Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos to remove the books that deny the Holocaust and promote anti-Semitism. In a statement, they said, "No one should profit from the sale of such vile and offensive hate literature. Many Holocaust survivors are deeply offended by the fact that the world's largest online retailer is making money from selling such material." By 2017, the group announced that Amazon had successfully complied with their requests. Well, what do you make of all of those? I know a lot of people defend Amazon and say that with a company of its size, it's expected that scandals will happen from time to time, but others feel like in this day and age, companies like Amazon are so big, they perhaps have more power than people, cities, or even some countries. And stories like this make that quite worrying to hear. One number 10, and we have the one-handed keyboard. If you have iOS 11 or later, you can access the one-handed keyboard on your iPhone. This is absolutely great if you often find yourself texting while holding something else like food, coffee, an umbrella, and you find the normal keyboard a little bit awkward to use. Just go to Settings, then General, then Keyboards, and tap on one-handed keyboards to use the keyboard specifically designed for just one hand. Alright, next up at number 9 now, we have unique vibration. If you guys go into your iPhones and you go to Sounds, Ringtone, Vibration, and then Create New Vibration, you can then create a new vibration to use for your notifications. The cool part of this is you can then go into your contacts contacts, hit edit on one of them, and then set that specific vibration for them that you just made. That way you'll instantly know who is calling you when you feel that specific buzz in your pocket. Moving on to the number 8 spot now, we have photo while filming. Have you guys ever been filming something on your phone and thought this would also be a great photo opportunity, but I can't take a photo because I'm filming? Well, now you don't have to choose one or the other. While you are filming, simply tap the photo button in the corner of the screen to take photos like you normally would. Next up at number 7 now, we have level. Have you guys ever wanted to see if something was completely flat and level? Does that picture on your wall still look a little bit wonky, or maybe your desk just feels slightly slanted? Well, you don't even need a special app to check it. Just open up the compass on your iPhone and then swipe left. Now you can use your phone as a spirit level to make sure that picture is perfect. Alright, next up at number 6 now, we have phrase swapping. You can teach your iPhone common slang or phrases that you use every day. Just go to settings, general, keyboard, text replacement, and then you can swap any word or phrase for any other one. For example, if you guys are always having to tell people your email address, you can make your phone type out your email address whenever you say the word my email, for example. That's just one I came up with. See for yourself though. Coming in at number 5 now, we have message details. Some of you guys might know this one, but it might also blow your mind if you don't. If you open up your message conversation with someone, there should be a button in the top right corner that says details. Give that a little tap and you'll see, among many other things, all the images you and that person have ever sent to each other. This can be really useful for finding something you sent each other the other day without having to scroll through pages of text. It can also be just a nice way to take a trip down memory lane. Moving on to number 4 now, we have battery suckers. If your battery seems to drain faster than it used to, it may be that one of your apps is hogging all of the power. But which one exactly? Well, you can easily find out if you go to General, Usage, Battery usage, and then there'll be a list ranking the worst offending apps when it comes to hogging your battery. Doesn't mean you have to stop using them altogether, but at least you now know where your power's going. Okay, next up at number 3 now, we have reply on lock. You don't actually need to open up your message to reply to that new message. When you get a message from someone, instead of swiping right to open it, swipe left slightly and then tap on that view button. This will allow you to reply to a text on the lock screen. Pretty handy if you're in a bit of a hurry. Next up at number 2 now, we have do not disturb. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get woken up by my phone at night. Even if it's on silent, the light can be enough to just wake me up. It's not fun, especially in the mornings. Well, did you guys know you can actually schedule your phone to not make any light or noise between certain hours? For example, 11 PM to 7 AM. You can even tell it to let through calls from specific people, which makes a lot of sense. And finally, at number 1 now, we have Spizy. This is the app that we mentioned earlier. They allow you guys to track what's going on another iPhone without even jailbreaking it. They recommend it for parents to use as a parental monitoring tool. Parents could use it to check their kids' messages, their calls, their locations, and even their browsing history. There's even a stealth mode on it that means that the target device won't even be notified when Spizy is running. Aside from parents, Spizy is also very popular among business owners who want to be able to monitor their employees so that they can focus on their own job, being a business owner. The data from all of this can be viewed remotely from any phone, any tablet, any PC or laptop, as long as you are connected to the internet. Spizy is also proud of its security, its simplicity, its competitive pricing, and its 24-hour dedicated support team who are available to answer any further questions that you guys might have. Starting off at number 10 now, we have people you may know. Many of you guys are familiar with the people you may know feature on Facebook. Facebook will recommend people to you that it thinks you should be friends with. Okay, that sounds fine, right? Facebook says it comes from things like mutual friends, being tagged in the same photo as someone, or networks you both belong to, such as schools, universities, workplaces, that sort of thing. In May 2018 though, Mashable published an article that suggested Facebook may be using shadier tactics with this. The author reported that they have been suggested to be friends with people they have been on dates with in the past, people with whom they had no mutual friends with at all. Their co-worker's dad was also suggested, someone they only had one mutual contact with. They were also suggested to be friends with people they had no mutual friends with whatsoever, sometimes even people with incomplete profiles. They inquired about what's going on with Facebook. A spokesperson for the company said that Facebook is always confirming that the help center content is accurate and reflects the most common types of information that inform suggestions. The fact that Facebook said the most common type made people think that they may have other types of data on us, data that you or anyone else may never know at all. What data is this? How exactly exactly do they get it? Either way, I'm sure it's all very credible. Facebook has never done anything strange with people's data. Moving on to number 9 now, we have the like button. Here's something that I never knew until I made this video. Have you guys ever been to a page with a Facebook like button? It could be a news site, a gaming site, a forum, whatever it is. I'm sure you know what I mean. You've probably even been on a site like that today. It's supposed to be a quick way for you to like or share the content you're seeing on Facebook with your friends, but it has a pretty creepy underbelly to it. If a site has a Facebook like button, then Facebook knows you've been there, and I mean any site, even sites that you might want to keep hidden from other people. Facebook says, we collect information when you visit or use third-party websites and apps that use our services, like when they offer our like button or Facebook login, or use our measurement and advertising services. So, by you guys agreeing to use Facebook and those websites agreeing to include the like button, Facebook can accurately track wherever you've been online. I'm sure that when some people learn that, they start noticing the like button a lot more. Next up at the number 8 spot now, we have your profile picture. Did you know that Facebook basically owns your pictures? Many people don't realize that Facebook can legally use your pictures for whatever they want. You might think there's no way this is possible. They're your pictures, right? You either took them or they include you. That sounds like enough for you to own them. Well, apparently not. Apparently the moment you upload a picture, you've agreed to certain terms and conditions. If you don't believe me, let's take a look at the official Facebook terms and conditions that I'm sure we've all read extensively. Try not to mouth the words along with me, no matter how tempting it is. Facebook says, for content that is covered by intellectual property rights, like photos and videos, IP content, you specifically give us the following permission, subject to your privacy and application settings. You grant us a non-exclusive, transferable, sub-licensable, royalty-free, worldwide license to use any IP content that you post on or in connection with Facebook IP license. So, there you go. Technically speaking, Facebook can use your picture however they want. They could even slap a 10-story picture of you on the side of a skyscraper. I mean, they're not going to do that, obviously, so don't worry. Or maybe just worry a little bit. A little bit of worry is good. Next up at number 7 now, we have the face map. Did you guys know that Facebook has a map of your face? This is where things start to get really weird in this video. Facebook actually knows who's in your pictures, or if you're in someone else's pictures, before you've even managed to tag them. Some of you may have already realized this when Facebook suggests who to tag before you've even typed in any names at all. The reason is now clear. Facebook scans and maps faces so that it can recommend tags for pictures. A lot of people may just find this quite a useful feature, but if you think about it, this feature means that Facebook has mapped everyone's face who has ever been tagged in any picture on Facebook. That's a few billion people. Facebook can probably track faces now better than some police departments. Welcome to the future. Next up at number 6 now, we have specific searches. Generally, people use a search bar on Facebook to either search for people and places. It's just the name of a friend or the name of a restaurant, something like that. Most people aren't aware though that you can search for creepily specific things in the search bar. If you want to search for single people in Chicago who like Ed Sheeran, you can do that. Just type that in. Facebook will bring up people who tick all those boxes. These people didn't sign up to be listed in this way. They're just single on Facebook. They've set their location to Chicago and they may have hit the like button on an Ed Sheeran fan page like 2 years ago. Other searches can include searching for married people who attended a certain event, searching for friends in a certain area who had pictures at a certain restaurant. The list goes on. Some people may see this as a helpful feature, others may be deleting their account as I speak. Next up at number 5 now, we have Facebook depression. A lot of people have reported that increased Facebook use has a correlation with being depressed, but is that actually true? Well now, in fairness, there have been studies that have found no link at all, but there have also been some well-discussed ones that do. One of those actually came from Harvard. Now they found that real-world social networks were a good thing. We're talking about groups, families, friends, or networks who have regular contact with other people in the world. Facebook was actually negatively associated with overall well-being though. The results were particularly strong for mental health. Most measures of Facebook in 1 year predicted a decrease in mental health a year later. They found consistently that both liking others' content and clicking links significantly predicted a subsequent reduction in self-reported physical health, mental health, and life satisfaction. Honestly, of all the reasons to give up Facebook on this list, that might be the most compelling one so far for some people. What do you guys think though? Moving on to number 4 now, we have no deleting. We may have touched on this point in previous videos, but this deserves to be talked about now. You can delete anything you want on Facebook, but that doesn't mean Facebook actually deletes it. Deleting a picture on Facebook is more like deleting something on your computer. It just goes to your recycle bin. You have to then go into your recycle bin to actually delete it for good. The recycle bin in this analogy is Facebook. In their own words, they say this: when you delete IP content, it's deleted in a manner similar to emptying the recycle bin on a computer. However, you understand that removed content may persist in backup copies for a reasonable period of time. So, there we have it. They even admit they are like a recycle bin. Of course, just like we've talked about before, this doesn't mean Facebook is just randomly saving people's pictures they delete, but the capability is there. I also find it interesting, personally, that their backup copies remain for a reasonable amount of time. That could be anything, you know, could be a day, a week, or forever. Next up at number 3 now, we have the right to remove. So by now in the video, we've already established that Facebook can track you, they can keep your deleted content, they can do a lot of things, but at least they can't delete the things you don't want them to. Wrong! Facebook reserves the right to remove whatever it wants from your page. Before you freak out too much though, they will tell you that they've done it if they do it. So if you haven't been informed by them, they probably have never done it to you. They also give you the right to appeal, which is good, but when it comes down to actually deleting stuff, they don't need your permission and they don't have to inform you. The Facebook terms and conditions read, "We can remove any content or information you post on Facebook if we believe that it violates this statement of our policies." Some people out there say this is totally fine, that Facebook would only use this power to remove something that incites hatred or violence. Others have pointed to examples where they believe Facebook was silencing freedom of speech. This topic really does tend to divide people. Where do you guys stand on it? Moving on to number 2 now, we have selling your face. We talked earlier in the video about how Facebook owns your pictures and reserves the right to use them. Well, this is kind of the next progression from that. Facebook can actually sell your pictures on to a third party. When you sign up for Facebook, you give them express permission to use your face in advertising for them or any other company. Again, if we refer to what Facebook says in their own terms and conditions, they say, "You give us permission to use your name, profile picture, content and information in connection with commercial, sponsored or related content such as a brand you like, served or enhanced by us." This means, for example, that you permit a business or other entity to pay us to display your name and or profile picture with your content or information without any compensation to you. I love that last sentence. I like how that last bit is just a bit of salt in the wound there. They can use your face in advertising and you're not going to get a single penny for it. Sorry. Can you imagine how freaky it would be to see your own face on a poster for Facebook or any other company? Maybe it's already happened and we just don't know about it. And finally, number 1 now, we have the Facebook bot. Okay, this isn't quite the same level as the Terminator, but it freaked out a lot of people when it happened. In 2017, Facebook was forced to shut down a pair of chatbots they had created when they discovered that the bots had created a secret language of their own. The algorithms behind the bots were created by Facebook's AI research lab as a way to improve the conversations that their chatbots were having with humans. However, in their effort to boost the bots' ability to negotiate and speak to humans, the bots ended up realizing that normal human language was actually inefficient for them. As they talked to each other, they started saying gibberish sentences like "I can, I, everything else." Another time, one of them said, "Balls have 0 to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, to me, to me." I started to creep myself out a bit there. The point is, they were talking to themselves in a new language that people at Facebook didn't understand. They still aren't even sure what some of the phrases actually meant. The company pulled the plug on the whole thing, but some people worry that they just went deeper with the experiments and eventually they may end up accidentally creating Skynet. Oh look, we've come full circle with the Terminator reference. Starting off at number 10 now, we have Cambridge Analytica. This is perhaps one of the most famous Facebook scandals in recent years. In June 2014, a researcher named Alexander Kogan developed a personality quiz app for Facebook. 270,000 users were asked if the app could access their data and, less known, the data of their friends. Because of this, from the small pool of people, Kogan was able to gain access to the data of up to 87 million Facebook profiles. He then sold that data to Cambridge Analytica, a voter profiling company. They used that to make 30 million so-called psychographic profiles about voters. It was eventually eventually revealed that the company had used their information to influence things like the US election, the Brexit referendum, and a number of other big political events over the past few years. When the spotlight turned to Facebook, they said the users consented to give the app their data, but this wasn't good enough for many people who felt Facebook could no longer be trusted with their information. Moving on to number 9 now, we have reading messages. In the wake of the aforementioned Cambridge Analytica scandal, many people started downloading their Facebook data to see what exactly Facebook had stored on them. Many people expected pictures, status updates, perhaps a list of their friends. However, they found a lot more than that, and people started sharing their discoveries on Twitter. One user found that Facebook had recorded the data of every call he'd ever made, including the time and duration, as well as data about every last text message I've received or sent. Actress Emma Kennedy tweeted that her data revealed Facebook had recorded every phone number in her contacts, every social event she ever went to, a list of her friends' birthdays, and a list of every text she'd ever sent. Facebook responded by saying they take nothing that the user doesn't agree to at some point or another. Do you guys think it's the fault of the user, or are Facebook overstepping a boundary? Next up at number 8 now, we have divorce. Did you know Facebook is said to cause divorce? According to a 2009 survey in the UK, around 20% of divorce petitions included some kind of reference to Facebook. It's thought that Facebook was causing people in marriages to worry about their spouse's contacts and relations with other people on the site. Researchers claim that high levels of Facebook usage can cause in-Facebook related conflicts, which lead to breakups and even divorce. Facebook jealousy, partner surveillance, ambiguous information, and online portrayals of intimate relationships are just some of the facets of this phenomenon. Quite often, partners on one side of the divorce report feeling neglected and having low feelings of passion and intimacy in the relationship. Have you guys ever been involved in or witnessed a relationship breakdown due to Facebook? Next up at number 7 now, we have Facebook stalking. It's an elephant in the room when it comes to using Facebook. The more you put out there, the more likely it is that someone with a little bit too much interest in you can stalk you and make your life uncomfortable or even hell. According to the National Center for Victims of Crime, over 1 million women and 370,000 men are stalked annually in the US alone. 63% of Facebook profiles are visible to the public, but it's teens that are most at risk. 3 out of 10 teens in the US have been stalked by a complete stranger on Facebook at some point and received numerous friend requests from people they don't even know. Perhaps more worrying though is that 7 in 10 victims actually know their offender in some ways. In the years since its creation, Facebook has taken extra measures to ensure its users' safety when it comes to stalking, but it's still brought up in many conversations. Next up at number 6 now, we have addiction. You may be surprised to hear that Facebook is said to be as addictive as alcohol or smoking. A 2011 study found that some users found quitting social networking sites such as Facebook to be comparable to quitting smoking or giving up alcohol. Now you may think Facebook denies this, but they kind of admitted it. At least Sean Parker did. He's the billionaire early Facebook investor who has claimed Mark Zuckerberg knowingly made Facebook as addictive as possible. He said in the early days, Facebook's entire goal was to consume as much of your time as possible. If you'd like an anecdotal story about how addictive Facebook can be, how's this? In 2014, it was reported that the site went down for about 30 minutes, which prompted several users to call the police due to severe withdrawal symptoms. Crazy. Moving on to number 5 now, we have minimum age. Facebook sets the minimum age to use its site at 13. However, many young people have reported having their Facebook accounts well before reaching that age. A 2011 study by First Monday examined how parents consistently enable children as young as 10 to sign up for accounts. The study involved over 1,000 households and found that 76% of parents reported their child joined Facebook when they were younger than 13. The study also claimed that Facebook removed roughly 20,000 users each day for violating its minimum age policy. Now of course this is to do with internet laws as well, but many criticize Facebook for not making it clear enough to parents that Facebook has a minimum age. 47% of parents said they were unaware Facebook had ever set a minimum age at all. Next up at number 4 now, we have the greater good. Many people were outraged after a 2016 Facebook memo got leaked, revealing a dark side to the company. The memo, published by BuzzFeed, was written by a Facebook vice president, Andrew Bosworth. In it, he argued that Facebook's growth is more important than any safety concerns. One specific quote seemed to disturb people more than all others. Bosworth said, "Maybe someone dies in a terrorist attack coordinated on our tools, and still we connect people. The ugly truth is that we believe in connecting people so deeply that anything that allows us to connect people more often is de facto good." Of course, Bosworth claiming that terrorists using Facebook to help them kill innocent people is still a good thing did not go down well with the public. He admitted writing the memo but said he didn't necessarily agree with it. He only wanted to start a conversation about the topic. Most people didn't buy that though, and Facebook made the news in all the wrong ways. We have cookies. In November 2011, an article published by USA Today claimed that Facebook had been creating logs of pages visited by its users and also non-users. The use of tracking cookies is nothing new. Many websites ask your permission to use them so they can see your browsing habits. You're usually given the chance to say no, but in this case, Facebook was using cookies to track people who were never even on their site at all. Of course, this caused a lot of outrage. It's one thing Facebook doing things with the data of its own users if they agree to it. It's another thing doing it to users who may have never visited the site ever. A number of governments took moves to stop this. One example came in November 2015. The Belgian Privacy Commissioner ordered Facebook to cease tracking non-users or face fines of $330,000 a day. Facebook claimed this practice actually made users safer, but they were eventually forced to stop. This is the reason why you now have to log into Facebook to see publicly available content. Next up at number 2 now, we have envy. Facebook has been accused of causing a massive spike in envious people and the unhappiness that accompanies that. This phenomenon is not exclusive to Facebook, and I'm sure you are all aware of it. Facebook shows people their friends often living successful and positive lives while they are often highly representative. Basically, it's all just a front. We all know this about social media, but still, it's something that many of us just kind of slip into. Envy, jealousy, even if we know it's not real. This is obviously down to the fact that most people don't share negative aspects of their lives on Facebook, only positive ones. Another reason is that because Facebook is open to everyone, it exposes inequality between social groups, showing the have-nots what the haves have, I guess, if that makes sense. All of this can lead people to severe depression, self-loathing, rage, and feelings of inferiority. Is this just part of the Facebook game? Is it human nature, or a technique Facebook uses to keep you hooked? And finally, number 1 now, we have fake news. It's a phrase that didn't even exist a few years ago. Now everyone knows it, and many say it's thanks to Facebook. After the 2016 US presidential election, it came under heavy fire with people claiming it didn't do enough to stop the spread of fake news stories on their site. Some even went as far as to say Donald Trump would not have won if the fake stories that helped his agenda were not so widespread. Now, many of you guys may be young or tech savvy enough to know a fake news story when you see one, but many older generations who use Facebook grew up in a time when news stories were arguably a lot more credible, at least the main sources of news were. These days, more than 40% of Americans say they get their news from Facebook, with titles such as Pope Francis endorses Donald Trump or Obama admits he was born in Kenya. It's no wonder that people are concerned. These stories were shared by millions of people without a single shred of evidence to back them up. The people behind these fake articles are motivated by quick cash through the adverts on Facebook. That's not inherently Facebook's fault, but they have since admitted they could do more to curb the spreading of fake news on their site. Whether they like it or not, this little website made in a college dorm back in 2004 now has the power to sway global politics, and it's learning to take the responsibility that comes with that.
So starting off this list, in at number 10 we have keyboard shortcuts. If you push the letter K, it will stop your video. J will rewind it by about 10-second intervals. L actually fast forwards your video by 10-second intervals. M mutes the audio, if you don't want to hear the audio. If you don't want to hear me talk anymore, you guys can just... And if you push Shift N, not right now, but that will actually skip you to the next video in the queue line. And if you go Shift P, you can go to the previous video, in which you guys should do now because you guys are probably watching another one of my videos. So go rewatch that video and rewatch this one. Okay, something very cool happens in at number 9. If you guys type in, use the force, Luke, it makes your screen shift from side to side, up and down, giving it an effect that you're using the force to move your screen. Just don't do it for too long because it will make you dizzy. busy, and it's probably a really bad idea to do it while you're drunk. Or you know what, maybe this can be a prank video. You can convince someone how drunk they are. Hey buddy, look at the screen. Things are moving? Not for me. Okay, and at number 8, if you guys type into YouTube search bar, do the Harlem Shake, remember when that thing was like popular? Well, this happens.
And do the Harlem Shake.
I mean, isn't this the coolest thing ever? The Harlem Shake has become an internet sensation since 2013. The most viewed videos were the Army Edition, which is like the original Army Edition because there's so many of them. The Miami Heat, when LeBron James was on the team, it used to be my favorite team when he was on it. Well, they did their version of it. You can see Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James shaking. There's a video called Kids React to the Harlem Shake, and it was uploaded by the Fine Brothers. It was very entertaining. Okay, if you guys type in Doogie Meme into the search bar into YouTube, it will transform your YouTube page into a colorful display, and it's actually really cool and a beautiful thing to look at. And this comes in to number 7. So this was actually created back in 2013. I'm not really sure the purpose of it, but I'm sure it took a lot of work to develop. A lot of great minds behind something just so simple. Once you click on the video to watch, the colors disappear, so no worries, it won't be like this forever. What made Dodgy Meme very popular was Weird Al Yankovic, go figure. I mean, he used this in one of his videos called Word Crimes. Alright, in at number... Okay, if you guys type in www.youtube.com/leanback, this transforms your YouTube page into something that resembles Netflix. So now you don't need your mouse to control anything. You can just take out your iPhone. No, okay, you can just use the keyboard. When you click on a video to watch, it looks exactly like Netflix. Everything just seems so organized. So now you guys can YouTube and chill. Okay, so what's even cooler than that? I got something better in at number 5. If you type in SS before any YouTube video, it will automatically take you to a website that you can actually download YouTube videos in. So now you can download your favorite videos and show other people. Although you can just go to YouTube and type in your favorite videos, so. But I guess you could take the videos, you can like archive them or like edit them together and make like a mashable video, a cool epic video. Maybe you guys can take all my videos and make like a cool mashup of it. Or you can take the videos, put it on a USB, put it in your TV, and then you can watch YouTube on TV if you don't already have a smart TV. Well, you just kind of made your TV smart. Okay, so in at number 4, just like number 5, if you type in GIF before a YouTube video, this will allow you to create GIFs of your favorite moments in a YouTube video. I mean, who doesn't want to create their own GIFs? Creating GIFs has been around since 1987, but now it's easier than ever to create your own and post them on popular social media sites to share it with your family and friends. GIF actually stands for Graphic Interchange Format, but ain't nobody got time for that, so let's just call it GIFs, because it just works. Originally, the name for GIFs was actually going to be 87A to represent the year that it was created, but thank God we don't call it 87A. Okay, so testing its way into the number 3 spot. If you guys type in www.youtube.com/testtube, this will allow you to test upcoming YouTube features. This is a secret. And you can find out what's going to be updated before anyone else does. So when the new things do come out, you're already an expert. And also you can get into the mindset of YouTube and how they're thinking. You'll be able to see new features, concepts, and layouts. Okay, so moving right along, if you guys go to mooma.sh, copy and paste a YouTube link into that, and the site is going to be able to identify any songs in that video. So you know how you're watching a video and you're like, oh my god, I love that song, what is it? Well, take that video, copy it into that, and then boom, you're going to know what song it was. I think that is just so awesome, but you know what? We've finally made it into the number 1 spot. So let's just quickly recap of all the YouTube secrets that I've been sharing with you guys, but you guys gotta keep it shh. We have YouTube shortcuts that can fast forward your videos or even rewind it, or you can even mute it. I taught you how to use the Force. You can now do the Harlem Shake. You're now able to change your color on YouTube. You can download YouTube videos, and you can find out what songs people are using in their popular videos. You can test out future YouTube projects before anyone else does. Well, in at the number 1 spot right now, you can now create your own floating YouTube player. I know what you guys are thinking.
Oh my god, god, Landon, what the heck are you talking about? Upload a YouTube player.
Well, we're of the future, and now you can get this thing. It's a Chrome extension that allows you to have just like, it's a screen that's just the size of a YouTube video, and you can put it anywhere on your screen. And it's a lot better than watching it on a browser, because you can actually browse while watching YouTube videos. You can just shrink it up in the corner. And I know you guys are like, well, I can just take the YouTube page and shrink it up in the corner, but you see all this other stuff. The YouTube player, it takes away all that crap and it just has the video.
Coming in at number 10, Google knows you, like really knows you. You probably don't think too much about how Google is one of the most profitable businesses in the world. It just kind of sort of is, and you go with it. Trust me, I do the same thing. But if you really think about it, it's free to use, so how does it exactly make money? Well, by selling information about you, basically. Google at this point probably knows you better than your best friend knows you. From maps, it knows your address and stores information on where you go. From your search terms, it knows what you're looking for, and from YouTube, it knows what you like watching. Google has your data. You're valuable to Google, who will sell your information to companies who want to advertise to you. It's like Jedi mind tricks. Coming in at number 9, Google Street View assists burglaries. Statistics suggest that 75% of would-be robbers use Google Street View to case a house before they actually turn up. In 2011, a Chicago man was found to have used Street View to assist him in a jewelry heist worth $100,000. Similarly, in 2010, Gordon Rayner of Great Britain blamed Google when he was robbed. He told national newspapers that Google Street View failed to censor the content of his garage. Coming into number 8, it steals other companies' data. In 2012, Google employees hacked a rival company in Kenya. Mortality was Kenya's largest online and mobile business directory, and Google was caught accessing its customer database with the intention of selling a competing product to its customers. That's just like not okay. This is not legal business practice, and who knows how often this kind of thing happens. I guess the problem this time for Google was they got caught. On top of that, Google was caught lying to potential customers about Mortality's rates. Mortality went bust just a year later in 2013. Coming into number 7, Google hacked Apple. We know they're fierce rivals, but Google actually did hack Apple. In 2012, Google was caught hacking Apple's Safari browser and monitoring Apple users' browsing behavior. The hack was spotted by the Wall Street Journal, who published an expose in 2012. 4 years later, Google were forced to pay Apple $5.5 million in a settlement to end the legal fallout. Like, guys, seriously, hacking Apple. You're playing with fire. Coming into number 6, Google is helping the government spy on you. In the UK, a Daily Mail article alleged that Google was using Google Earth when investigating suspected tax dodgers. Google Earth allows revenue agencies to see things like home improvements and cars. It isn't just the British government either. There have been cases of tax fraud exposed by other European and indeed United States governments. Coming into number 5, Google self-driving cars might not be as safe as you think. Google is currently testing self-driving cars, although there have been a few accidents that have been hushed up. In September 2016, a driverless car was involved in a bad crash in California. The company saw 14 accidents in 6 years, although Google says in most of the cases their cars were rear-ended. Coming into number 4, Google decides if you have the right to be forgotten. Basically, you don't decide. 2018 saw a landmark case between a businessman and Google about his right to be forgotten. As I'm sure you're aware, Google seemingly knows all, and a quick search of my name can tell you where I was born and what I studied at school. But what if there are things that I don't want you to know about me? By and large, this is just tough luck. The search engine will seldom remove information about you unless it considers it to be defamatory, in which case it is legally obliged to remove that information. The businessman in London wants the search engine to take down links to information about an old conviction, but Google's main defense is that it's in the public interest for the information to stay. The case is still being fought, but it will set a precedent for future rulings on personal privacy. Oh, and if you live in America, you aren't even protected by the right to be forgotten in the first place, so best of luck to you. Coming into number 3, it can destroy your business. A bad review for a restaurant can totally destroy the business, but it isn't just customer reviews on Google that are destroying livelihoods. If Google wanted to, it could totally destroy e-commerce business by de-ranking their websites. Google chooses what it wants to show you based off your search data. Most companies use search engine optimization, however nobody truly knows how and why Google ranks sites the way it does. If you try and predict and trick the Google bots, it can de-rank your site so as not to show you in web searches. This would basically mean that your business would be as good as buried. Is it okay that Google has that kind of power? Like, I don't feel comfortable with it. Coming into number 2, Google Street View cars hack into your Wi-Fi and steal your data. In 2012, it was revealed that Google Street View cars were retrieving and storing data from private Wi-Fi networks. The web giant said that it was a mistake, however evidence emerged to suggest that an engineer in the company planned it all along and other members of the company knew about it. Finally, coming into number 1, Google has a secret side company called Google X. Google X is a secret research and development arm, and the whole thing is shrouded in total mystery. Workers have to sign a non-disclosure, so really we have no idea what on earth is going on in the highly secretive building half a mile off Google's main campus.